Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums. Yeah, come to think of it, I've already said this line like so many times this month, it's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna do an album review on another album released this year, and that would be JPEGMAFIA's All My Heroes Are Cornballs. Haha! So, Baltimore rapper JPEGMAFIA, he's back after releasing Veteran last year, which became one of the most famous underground hip-hop records of 2018, even though I think it has its flaws, and for me personally, I had a hard time digesting a lot of the tracks on that album, because on that album, the music is extremely choppy, glitchy, disjointed, experimental, almost so much so that I find it hard to digest because it's just really weird and abstract. And same goes for this album. But there are a lot of great songs on Veteran as well, in my opinion. We have the very futuristic, chill 1539 North Calvert, which is an amazing album opener. We have the second track, which is just an absurd banger with 3 layers of sound. We have JPEGMAFIA's really aggressive rapping. The Old Dirty Bastard shouting, screaming sample is fantastic, and the layer of moody, spacey synths, and altogether it's a perfect combination. Therefore, this song is one of my favorite songs from 2018. Another great song would be Baby I'm Bleeding. In fact, I think this is my favorite JPEGMAFIA song because it's such a banger. And also we have tracks like Macaulay Culkin with its mellow, smooth guitars, and the track I Can't Fucking Wait Until Morrissey Dies, which is incredibly futuristic and cutting edge. And also lately I've been starting to enjoy the track DD Form 214, which is one of the weirder songs off of Veteran, but I just really love the very claustrophobic, crushed together instrumentals and the very smooth R&B singing on top. It just creates this very surreal, claustrophobic vibe, which has a dreamy quality to it. Something that I totally wouldn't expect from a hip-hop album, but something I would probably expect from something like I don't know, like a sound collage, weird experimentation, avant-garde album. And then we have this album, All My Heroes Are Cornball, and this album is actually even moodier and mellower and slower and quieter than all the previous JPEGMAFIA projects, because hey, it's 2019, everybody's dropping moody albums except for Charlie XCX because she doesn't care. But a lot of the artists, for some reason, decided to drop something moody, spacey, something a little more low effort this year. I mean, look at Swain, Brockhampton, Flying Lotus, Tyler the Creator. I mean, the first King Giz album this year is pretty moody. The first Logic album is for some reason pretty moody. Look at Mac DeMarco. What a low effort album. That's not very moody, but just low effort. And speaking of low effort, look at Gunna. Look at Lil Pump. And then we have this album, which is of course kind of moody and spacey as well. And also, even though it's pretty moody, pretty spacey, and pretty heavily R&B and vaporwave driven, it's still pretty choppy, glitchy, and experimental. Therefore, there are a lot of tracks here that I find kind of hard to digest as well. Yeah. Still, I think a lot of the tracks here are actually really consistent and really solid. And what I also really love about JPEGMAFIA's music is that he's one of these celebrities out there right now who actually understands the internet, shitpost culture. And also, this album is pretty special because it is pretty moody and it's a huge shift in sound and style for JPEGMAFIA. And that's why before the release of this album, JPEGMAFIA actually uploaded a series of videos on his YouTube channel where he shows a bunch of people like Slow Tie, Denzel Curry, Hannibal Buress, James Blake, Jeff Tweedy of Wilco fame. He shows them this album and they all get disappointed. And I'm not disappointed. I'm not. The album starts off with a really moody and slow cut with Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thot. And it has these very distant and surreal and dreamy pianos. And we also get these really low-key beats. A very weird start for a Peggy album, I have to say. And on this track, Peggy talks about his creative process and his music. He also makes some really cool one-liners and also some really funny lyrics about keeping his pussy closed, and also him comparing himself with Princess Peach and Carly Rae Jepsen. And occasionally on this track, I think in the middle actually, just this one time where it suddenly plummets into this loud, noisy trap beat, and then it slowly dissolves back to the sort of disjointed, surreal pianos, and it's all pretty weird, but also pretty pleasant actually. It's not one of my favorite tracks on the album, but it's still a really pleasant opening for the album. And count your blessings for I actually really love the second track, Keenan versus Kel, where it has these jingly, blinking keyboards in the intro, which isn't great, but then it slowly melts into this really relaxing, moody, constant beat with some really amazing flows from JPEGMAFIA. Especially in the part where it starts off with Off Probation, the flow is golden. It's one of my favorite moments off of the record. And also for the second half of the track, it breaks down into this loud, drony guitar rager, which is pretty intergalactic actually. Then we have the third track, Beta Male Strategies, and it is one of my favorite songs off of the album. It has this really low-key, ethereal, alien singing in the back, which is really nice. We also get this low-key, clickety-clackety beat. And also, JPEGMAFIA constantly changes his flow throughout the song from kind of low-key to somewhat aggressive, and it's all built up really nicely. And at the second half of the song, there is a huge key change again. It feels really apocalyptic, kind of intergalactic, and also kind of Radiohead inspired for some reason. And yeah, it has these distorted, alien, surreal guitars, which are amazing. And that is quickly followed by an interlude, which is called JPEGMAFIA type beat. So now whenever somebody types JPEGMAFIA type beat in YouTube, this song comes up. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's only 50-something seconds long, but I really wish it's a full song because the beat of the track slaps hard. It slaps. Oh my gosh, the beats are jittery, clickety. We get these metallic slashes at your face, and we also get these filthy shouts and wiggly bass underneath, and all is so filthy and nasty and so fun and exciting. And it almost sounds kind of Death Gripsy, which is maybe the reason JPEGMAFIA decided to put this song as an interlude, you know, in order to poke fun at people who thinks JPEGMAFIA sounds similar to Death Grips because they're both experimental rap artists. Afterwards, we have the track Grimy Waifu, which has a really smooth transition between the type beat interlude. And this track is actually really futuristic and cutting edge, but also melodic with the sparkling guitars and the gorgeous synths. And the Grimy Waifu here actually refers to his gun, apparently. Take the bullets for me, that's my Grimy Waifu. The next track is Ptsd, and it has this really disoriented sample-based intro, but then later on it builds into this mystical, surreal instrumental, which is really moody and spacey as well, with the ringing synths and the plucky decorations. The beat is also really textured, which I really love, and the performance on the track is also really emotional. We also have the track Rap Grow Old and Die X No Child Left Behind, which has these sweet, buzzy chords. It sounds very lo-fi, but also very blown out and distorted at the same time. The vocals on the first half of the track is really robotic as it is heavily auto-tuned, but it's also very surreal and gorgeous. And the end of the track is really disjointed and really disorienting, but it's also something of a work of art. And then we have the title track, which has these bare bones, jittery keyboards in the beginning, and these clickety-clackety beats. However, when the instrumentals are fully developed on the track, we get some melodic singing, and it's a really pleasant song as well. That takes some time to get into, yes, but when you get it, when the song clicks, it does click. It's a pretty good song, yeah. And then afterwards, the album kind of trails off with the track BBW, which actually stands for Black Brian Wilson. But the song is actually not that bad, even though it's a little blander than the rest of the tracks. It's still a pretty relaxing and moody track with these mopey vocal samples, which is actually pretty well incorporated with the beat. The next track, Prone, with an exclamation mark, is an explosive banger that is actually pretty great with the low-key, quiet guitars, but also the wind noise, the distorted beats, and the very dizzying ending. Also some crazy lyrics on this track. One shot to turn Steve Bannon into Stephen Hawking. Ooh. And the song Life's Hard, Here's a Song About Sorrel, is most definitely the worst song on the album, in my opinion. The instrumentals feel kind of bland and kind of disjointed and not in an interesting way. And the auto-tuned singing is kind of bland and excruciating, actually, just a little bit. And the song is only 1 minute and 2 seconds long. Even though it does sound like an interlude, it's still too long for an interlude. Yeah, anyway. The next track is Thot Tactics, which isn't great as well, even though I like the vocals on the track. But the subdued electronic beat is kind of bland, and the weird silent moment in the first half of the song is kind of weird. It sounds like a little error. The outro is kind of giggly and kind of fun, but it's just not really all that great of a song overall. We have the track Free the Frail, which is a surprisingly melodic and catchy song from JPEGMAFIA. And what I also really love about the song is that Peggy seems really vulnerable on the song. He talks about his fame and his image in a very stripped back and honest way, and that's something to admire. Also, I really like the bassy beats and the very airy instrumentals. They all complement each other really beautifully, and the chorus of the thing, the hook of the thing, the little synth lines all over the track, they're all really gorgeous. We also have the track Post Verification Lifestyle, because you're not a real human being if you're not verified by Twitter. If you're verified, then you're no longer a loser. And this song is really weird. It sounds like 5 different song ideas mashed into one. It's really disjointed, kind of messy. The first part of the song is really aggressive and nice, and then after that we get some disjointed pianos, and then it just kind of trails off. I kind of wish that this song is more solid and consistent. We also have the track Basic Bitch Tear Gas, which is actually a TLC cover of No Scrubs, except slower, more drunk, more distorted, and more glitchy. While it's a very interesting song, I don't think it's one of the more sonically pleasing songs off of the album. We also have the track Thot's Freestyle Remix, which has a low-key beat but a pretty smooth flow at the beginning. But then again, the song trails off and becomes this vapor, wavy, glitchy mess that doesn't really have anything to offer. Then we have the track Buttermilk Jesus type beat, Buttermilk Jesus, and it has a pretty bass boosted beat, some glistening pianos, but that's pretty much the extent of the track. Nothing interesting ever happens on the track. However, the album ends off in a really nice conclusive way with the track Papi, I Missed You, and it's a really solid ending to the album. Nice beat, nice flow, nice instrumentals, nice performance, and also some crazy lyrics as well. One of them being, Target practice on Aryans, redneck tears, what a beverage. Redneck tears. But yeah, even though there are tracks on this album that I find kinda uneventful in comparison with some of the uneventful cuts on Veteran, the uneventful cuts on Veteran are definitely more interesting and more challenging than the cuts here. But still, I think this may be more consistent sonically than Veteran. And I think the first half of the album, the first 8 tracks on the album, is at least pretty amazing, pretty sweet. And overall, the album is very moody, very surreal, very dreamy, and I actually kind of like it. I think I like this album just as much as I like a Veteran, maybe a little less, just like a tad bit. But still, my favorite track here is I don't know. It's either Free the Frail or Beta Male Strategies. And my least favorite is Life's Heart. Here's a song about sorrow. I am giving JPEGMAFIA's All My Heroes Are Cornballs a 7 out of 10. So, have you listened to this album from 1 to 10 how much was rated? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.